Hello there, Vanagon Addicts. It's Ken Wilford here at Van again. Hope you guys are having a great day. I'm having a great day. It's good to see you guys here. Got Jackbox coming in. We got Jose Carrillo coming in. It's good to see you guys. Welcome out here to another fascinating day at Van again. Hope you guys are getting ready for Memorial Day here in the U.S. We're going to have that on Monday. And so we're going to be thinking about those folks that have fought and died and gave their lives for us here. And I definitely want to say thank you to all of those folks. And also, of course, our folks who are in the military right now. Thank you for your service. Thank you for keeping us safe. And you're in our thoughts and prayers every day. And we don't just say that, we do it. So that's basically what's happening here in the U.S. this week. So if you have a hard time getting a hold of people and that kind of thing, that could be why, because we are, doing the USA thing, which is taking a little grill break and relaxing, getting your swimming pool rigged up, and all that kind of good stuff. And I hope a lot of you guys are taking your Vanagons and driving out somewhere into the country and going camping and all that great stuff and just enjoying it. If you are doing that, definitely come into the chat. Let us know where you're going this weekend for our extended weekend and what you're doing this weekend with your van. If anybody has any questions about, their van and how to fix it and different things like that, that's what we're here for as well. Jose wants to know about a relay that controls the refrigerator. That's probably for the Westie. I'm sure I can help you. Just email me and I can send you a wiring diagram for that. That should not be a problem. Okay, so what do I want to talk about this week? I want to talk about why do we still drive why do we still drive Vanagons? Why do we still keep these vans on the road? Because, number one, I know we like them. Okay, so I know that. And I enjoy them. I think they're a great vehicle. To me, they're kind of like the Swiss Army knife of vehicles. So you can be driving around and you can be doing your normal day-to-day routine, and then on the weekend you can jump in it and go on a trip to the mountains or the trip to the lake or something like that, and you have a place to sleep. And some of them you have, of course, your camper in the top, you have a stove, you have a fridge, all that good stuff. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds that way. You have you can do your daily drive if you want. You can also camp in it, live in it. But are there not things that are out there now, comparable vehicles that you could do the same thing in now? And the answer is yes, of course there are. Okay, there are Sprinters out there, or Mercedes-Benz vans have been modified, turned into campers. There are even Sportmobile, right? You guys remember Sportmobile out there? Back in the day, they used to make Sportmobile bus conversions. You have a high top, and you could camp in that. Well, guess what? Sportmobile is still around. They're still making campers today based on a Ford van. So, what is still the advantages, between owning a Vanagon, even possibly owning a bus or a Eurovan, to a more modern vehicle? And I was kind of shocked this week. I was in the local bookstore. I was looking at a magazine that was an RV magazine, and it had listed basically a section for what they call, I think the smallest RVs are called Model C's or B's. I can't remember exactly, but they had a listing for them, and they showed the Sportmobile. Okay, it's like basically a Ford 16-passenger Ford van. Okay, full-size van. The interior of it is set up to basically mirror like what a Westie would be like. Okay, so they basically took a Westie, stole the interior layout, and put it into a Ford van, and they even have a pop top on the top. Alright, does anyone want to take a small guess at the price of this vehicle? Does anyone want to make a tiny, small guess at the price of this car? Good to see Costas here. Give him a shout out. Good to see Steve DeRuiter here as well. Good to have him here. Steve, you know, you could get by with the normal bed and maybe like a little foam pad thing, memory foam pad. That might be a thing. Yeah, you guys are about on it. Costas nailed it right off the bat. I think it's around $80,000 to $88,000 for, this is the cheapest, okay, conversion van camper thing that I could find, was this Ford Sportsmobile. The thing is huge, okay, so it's not as convenient as a Vanagon or a Eurovan or a bus camper would be. It's big, okay, and I don't know if you've ever driven a 15-passenger van. Yeah, it's a different, it's a different thing than driving a Vanagon. Okay, you feel like you're driving something big, and so, anyway, that is the cheapest one. Okay, there were other ones. These ones that, I want one that has a Sprinter. It's got its own bathroom. It's got like one of those little mini rooms that's like a bathroom, a shower, all that kind of stuff. It's got a flat panel television. It's diesel. It's got, a super modern diesel engine, and it's got like stove, refrigerator, all the normal stuff. But it's like a Sprinter, more modern car. You are looking at $200,000. I'm not exaggerating. $200,000 to $250,000. Okay, let's just let that sink in for a second. Okay, I mean, $250,000. That's the cost of a house. Okay, that's the cost of a house, and this is not a big RV. This is a van. It's extended out a little bit. It's kind of like the size of like a Rialta back in the day, if you guys know what that was. Yes, they have a generator. Yes, they have, these nicer conveniences. But the price difference, okay? So, like you guys are saying, buying a Westie, okay, even now, even in our kind of inflated Westie economy, okay, you could buy a decent Westie for $20,000. Okay, you could probably buy one for less than that. Like Eric said, he paid $3,500 for his first one. I mean, people still get deals like that, but it's more rare. And these things, yeah, they're just so expensive. Now, Cost is saying that VW T6 Westie costs $60,000 fully equipped. We can't get that here. Okay, we can't get what they call the Westphalia, California. If we could get it here, it would be $120,000 probably, because of the tariffs and all that other, and transportation things and everything like that. So, Jackbox says he paid $400. Yeah, I mean, so the sticker shock is very, very high. Okay, so just say you bought a Westie for, $15,000 and needed some work, and you put another $15,000 into it. So you've got $30,000 in it. You are still well below even half. You're like a third or whatever of what some of these people that went out and bought that Sportsmobile, okay, what they paid. And I will tell you this: you buy that Sportsmobile for $80,000. You say, money is no object. I'm going to go buy this Sprinter, and it's going to have lane adjustment technology things, and it's going to be super awesome. The second you drive that thing off that lot, the value of it is going to drop like a rock, like a stone. Okay, so you paid $250,000 for it. 6 months later, you try to you have a family issue problem thing happen. You want to sell it back to the dealership you bought it from, to the RV place. They're going to say, "Oh, we'll buy it back from you at $225,000." Like, what? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. So your value is going to drop. Now, if you buy a Vanagon or a Eurovan or a bus, and you keep it, you do make it nice. Okay, don't get crazy. Some people get all crazy, and they have to do every single add-on item that Go Westy sells. They have to buy it and just bolt it on there. Every super duper engine conversion things and transmission has to be custom. Everything custom paint job, custom interior. I mean, if you want to do all that, that's fine. But don't do all that and expect that when you sell it, you're going to get all that money back. Okay, because that's not going to happen. Okay, I mean, I've had people tell me that, like, yes, I have, I bought this van to sell, and I paid $20,000 for it. Okay, and then I went and had a paint job done, custom paint, all leather interior, every Go Westy thing ever, strap it on there, bolt it on there, and now I've got like another $30,000 in it. So I'm going to sell it for $50,000. Yeah, good luck with that. Okay, good luck with that. Okay, because that's not going to happen. If you want to build your custom van, that's your vision, that's something that you love, your passion or whatever, I mean, go for it. If you just write me a check for $30,000, I'll pick out all the best stuff and mail it to you. Okay, and I'll be like your little van concierge guy. I'll be like, yes, get this, boom, do it. Okay, but otherwise, don't expect to get that back. Okay, but if you bought a van for $15,000, you kept it nice, you kept it mechanically up and everything, when you went to sell it, most likely you would be selling it for more money than you bought it for. Okay, I mean, I've been in this business for 20 years, and the value has went up every year for the last 20 years. Okay, when I first got into this, I bought my first Vanagon for $75. Okay, so some of you guys say, I bought mine for $400 or whatever. I bought my first one for $75. They were trying to get rid of it. Okay, then the next one I bought, I paid $200 for it. Then the next one I bought, I probably paid $400 for it. Okay, so this was back in 1998 or something like that. And I sold all of them for way more money than I paid for them, or parted them out and got way more money. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is, which is still a better investment, right? Which is still a better investment? People buy these RVs. There's an RV now. There's a Class A. Now, this is a big RV. It looks like a bus. Basically, it's based on a bus chassis. And you have one that's $1 million. Okay, that you can buy. This is not the one that's for, the movie stars, because theirs is $10 million. Yeah. This is just for a regular person who apparently is rich, who has a decent amount of money. He can buy an RV for $1 million. Okay, and yet there's also ones you can buy for $250,000. This is all Class A, and so I'm looking at these. because I have a Class A. I have a Bounder. It's a '97, and we used it to go across the country and back about in 2011. And I paid some okay money for it back then, for me anyway. But so I'm interested. So I'm looking at these RVs, and you can buy this one for $250,000. Then there's another one that's $500,000. Then there's another one that's $1 million. Okay, and I'm looking at the different levels. I don't really see the value. You see what I'm saying? I don't really see the value. You have the $250,000 one and the $500,000 one. To me, look very comparable to each other. Okay, there's nothing. I mean, maybe the materials on the interior is better, but it's still an RV. And anybody that's owned an RV, like a USA-made RV, knows that the construction quality is okay. I'm just being honest with you. It's okay. And then you go to this $1 million unit, and from the $500,000 unit to the $1 million unit, again, I'm looking at the two of them and going, this is twice as much money. Is it twice as good? I don't see it. I don't see that value. So, I mean, none of you guys care about Model A things. I'm just rambling about that. But, you know, so what I'm trying to say is, in the RV world, okay, the Vanagon, the bus, is a bargain. Okay, it is a bargain. It is, you know, people call me sometimes. They complain about the cost of parts. They complain about the cost of the camping things and whatever. Just own an RV and try to get parts for it. Okay, Winnebago is one of the worst. Winnebago is one of the worst in every way. Okay, why do I say that? They're one of the worst in their quality. Their quality is okay. That's their awesome quality they have, is okay. They're worst about the parts. The parts are super expensive, and then 2 years after they stop making that particular model, they drop all their part support. Okay, so I'm familiar with this from the Eurovan world. They made Eurovan campers, right, in the 2000s. Okay, the 90s to the 2000s, they made Eurovan campers. Pretty much all the ones that you see, they'll say Winnebago on the top. The top was plastic. The pop top was plastic. Okay, so let's just let that sink in for a second. So you have a Westphalia top that is made out of fiberglass. Okay, you can repair that. It'll keep going like a boat. Okay, you can keep that going for a really, really long time. Hey, Chris, I'm glad you're here, buddy. Hope you're doing good with your physical stuff and things. Also, Eric, it's good to see you as well. So, you know, you can keep that pop top going, but if you have a pop top made out of plastic, do you see a problem with that? Yeah, after a while, plastic basically deteriorates, like no matter what you do. Okay, so plastic top is going to start cracking, it's going to start breaking. And as far as I know, there's no replacement for it. People are learning how to plastic weld and different things to try to fix them. I have people call me about the skylights. Okay, so the skylights, they say, hey, I have a Eurovan and I have a camper, and a lot of times they'll be like, I have a Westphalia and I need a skylight. I'm like, so you have a Eurovan, right? Yes. I'm like, when you look at the pop top on the front, what does it say? I'm like, what does it say? Does it say Winnebago? Yes, Winnebago, yes. I said, well, you just told me it was a Westphalia. Oh, yeah, no, it's a Winnebago. I'm like, yes, okay, I know what you're talking about. I just want to be clear, okay? And then they're like, I need a skylight for that. I'm like, have you called Winnebago? No. Like, call them up and see what they can do, because I have no source for it. Now, the good part about Winnebago is that they would pick the most easiest to get, cheapest thing that you can imagine a lot of times and use that, source that. Okay, so maybe that means that skylight is like a standard size, or you know, it's something you can still get because it was like Bobo Jack's Skylight City or something, and they got 1,000 of them and popped them in there. You know, so I mean that it's could be good that way, but if it's discontinued from them, good luck, because they have no aftermarket support, nothing. Okay, so you know, I much prefer the Westphalia stuff. On the inside, okay, Winnebago, the Eurovan Winnebago campers. On the inside, they had plastic, lots and lots of gray plastic for the interior. That plastic, I was working for a company called Poptop Heaven. I don't know if any of you guys remember them. They were back in like the early 2000s. they were like the new hotness. They were taking over for Go Westy, and they were gonna like change the world and sell all these Westies and things. So they called me. They said, "Hey, we got some Westphalias. We want you to, help us sell on the East Coast." I'm like, "Yes, okay." So anyway, they came here and they actually had bought like 25 brand, like relatively new. Okay, so this was like in 2005, I think. They had bought 25 campers, Eurovan campers that were like 2001s, 2003s, in that range, from Starbucks. Okay, and Starbucks had these wrapped, and it said Starbucks on it. They had actually a LP generator in the back, and they had a hot tap on the sink, and they were using them to kind of like promote Starbucks at sporting events out west on the West Coast. And so Poptop Heaven bought 25 of these. They sent me a few of them. Sadly, when they came here, they had already pulled the LP generators out. I was like, I wanted to see that, but they were gone. And the top of the sink was cut, like the cover was cut, was missing, and there were some other mods. So I was trying to put it back to, like, we want you to put it back to original. And I mean, number one, just like I said, this was 2005. So some of these were 2003s, 2001s. The plastic was already deteriorating. Okay, the interior plastic was already deteriorating from the sun and from just outgassing and things over years. Already like getting brittle, getting rotten, fading in the sun. I would hate to see what they're like now. Okay, but back then they were already starting to go bad because of the cheap materials. Okay, so a Westphalia, the materials are not cheap. The materials are quality materials. You've got like almost like a yacht boat materials in the car that hold up really, really well. Okay, so I see Thomas Lee. Welcome out here with us. Thomas says he paid $1,000 last year for an 82 diesel, tin top, not running. Was T-boned hard with salvage title. Restoration in progress. Probably spent $6,000. Yeah, I mean, that's not surprising. Body work is probably the most expensive thing you're going to do, on a car. When they get T-boned, I have usually just parted them out, but I understand stuff is getting, more harder and harder to get. So, let's keep going. I see Steve, he says, I keep getting told my Westie wasn't an original motorhome and they want me to go park in the camping areas at parks. Says motorhome on the insurance. Okay. Yeah, so this is a debate that's been going on for a long time, Steve. When people would... I talked to people a few years ago about getting RV insurance. Okay, because RV insurance is ridiculously cheap. A lot of people use their Westie as an RV. Okay, and Progressive RV full coverage for an entire year in New Jersey is like $300, $325, and that's unlimited miles. It's way better than a hobby thing. Okay, so, but then when you call them, sometimes you have to fight over, is it an RV or not? You're like, well, it has a sink, has a stove, it has a refrigerator, it has a bed. Sometimes they'll be like, well, it needs a bathroom, so go get a porta potty, stick it in there, boom, bathroom. Okay, what else do you want, right? And like Steve says, you've got propane tanks, you've got, water tanks, everything. So, I mean, yeah, it's weird, the parks. I've never really experienced that with them. Usually, they just, okay, yeah. Usually, they just, let me park wherever I wanted with mine, but I don't know why they're getting so picky. Probably because some people have abused stuff. Like, I know one thing with RV parks here in the U.S., some of them are getting picky about what year RVs can come in there. But the big problem they have is people living in the parks. Okay, I had a friend out in California who has a Model A RV. I had purchased it for him. We fixed it all up, and he took it out to the West Coast. But he's a Vanagon person. He has 7 vans. Okay, so he's got some Vanagon credibility. But he wanted this big RV to live in because he was working for the military out there, and he also wanted to tow things with it. So he wanted to tow his, he towed 2 of his vans out there, his bus and a Vanagon, and used them while he was out there. But out there, they wanted him to move every 30 days. Okay, so he had a nice RV. It wasn't a piece of junk, wasn't old or raggedy or whatever. But they want to move every 30 days. Why? Because they don't want people living there full time, and not like you could somebody could pull in there with this old RV. As soon as they get parked, it will never start again. It'll never run again, and then it's just kind of stuck there. And then it's almost like you got a homeless person living in your RV park. It's not the most savory thing. So some of the RV parks now, they're getting a little crazy. They want, if you're going to be there longer term, they definitely want your RV to be like 10 years old or newer. Like 10 years is the cutoff. But that's not really for us, That would be for like if you had a trailer, a park trailer, or if you had a big RV or something that you were going to say park somewhere in like a season pass or something like that. They want it to be newer. It kind of keeps the riffraff. I don't know is that how you say it. I don't want to make everybody mad at me, but the riffraff people, they want to keep them out. So anyway, so like I was trying to say, my rant or my speech. Okay, I can give a speech. It doesn't have to be a rant. Is that the Vanagon is a great value. Okay, even the Eurovan, if you like them, they're a value. That kind of thing. They're great value to even today because they hold their value. They at least hold it. Sometimes it can go up in value as you own it if you keep it nice and keep it in good condition. And also it's way less money than something comparable. Okay, something comparable like a Sprinter. Like I said, this Ford Sportmobile. I mean, again, driving that car is going to get 10 miles to the gallon. Excuse me, on gas. It's going to be terrible on gas. Maybe it gets 10 miles to the gallon. It's going to be like driving a big tank, big boat. You get there and, people are going to be like, oh, I know what that is. That's a camper. Okay, again, you can stealth camp with a lot of Vanagons. You guys have tin tops. We're talking about that. You can stealth camp somewhere, and people don't even know that it's a camper. They're like, oh, there's a van parked over there. That's weird. Okay. And so Steve is saying, I have a park membership. It's 3 weeks in, 7 days out, unlimited usage. Okay. And again, the fees are $350 a year. I mean, that is cheap. When we were traveling in 2011, most places we would stay were about $29 a night. Okay. I think we did actually get this park membership thing that made our things a little bit cheaper if we stayed at certain RV parks. But the problem you run into is some RV parks are like in this system here in the U.S. and some of them aren't. I know Canada, maybe they're all like related, or you're talking about like the state parks and stuff. They sometimes have special deals. The state parks around here are nice, but they're mostly primitive, which for Vanagons is fine. Okay, but for like say you had a bigger RV, primitive sites, not so great because you want all the stuff and things, right? You want like your electricity, water, cable television, all that kind of malarkey, Wi-Fi things. Right? I mean, nowadays, you definitely want Wi-Fi. With me, when I was traveling, even in 2011, I was actually working from the road, and, we needed Wi-Fi to be able to do that back then. And so staying at an RV park and paying $29 a night, you get, like, all this stuff. Like I said, you get, like, a swimming pool. A lot of times, a nice swimming pool at the RV park. You get, your water, your sewer dump, your electricity, your Wi-Fi, all that stuff is kind of included in that. So, yep. So Steve is using Sound Pacific RV membership. Used to have 1,000 trails, but the fees were getting insane per year. Yeah, I mean, I can't remember which one we had. We had one that I bought while we were traveling, and we used it a decent amount. But here in the U.S., like I said, it's a little bit more splintered in RV memberships. But it's definitely something to look into because, you know, you can save you some money over time. So anyway, so that's one benefit to owning Vanagons, okay, is the ownership. Like I said, people complain about stuff, but just let them own anything else and they will know something. I mean, Sprinters seem like a good idea until you start having to repair them, and then you find out some stuff like that some of the repairs you have to go to the Mercedes dealership to get done, and they have to hook it to a computer, and there is absolutely no way that you can do this at home because you don't have access to the Mercedes network, okay? And they're going to charge you $150 or $200 just to plug in that computer and scan things and look at things. Okay, so if you care about money at all, you might as well just hang it up. You know, it's one of those situations where they say if you have to ask how much it costs, you can't afford it. So to me, to my mind, you know, if you're buying a modern RV that's brand new, you're going to be losing a big chunk of money. So you have to basically not care about that. Okay, if you don't care about losing thousands of dollars in value in the course of a few months, right, then definitely go buy one. I mean, if I was going to buy one, I would buy one that was a couple years old. You know, what I've been hearing too is they've been selling them like crazy. You know, this is the other crazy part this blows my mind. Okay, you have the cheap end of the model Class A's, $125,000. Okay, the mid-range is $250,000 to $500,000. Okay, and then you have $1 million one, and they have been selling these things out like crazy. Okay, people have been buying them. They don't want to. They want to do the van life, but they want to have all the comforts of home. And these big RVs, I mean, they have slide outs when you get to where you're going. It's as big as your house. Okay, and it's nice. They're very nice. Okay, but they're making them. They're selling them and selling them and selling them like crazy. And when people get them, they have all kinds of major defects and problems. And in order to get it fixed, you have to go back to the factory. Okay, a lot of times. So this one couple, they were from Massachusetts. They bought a $250,000 model Class A, Model A or Class A RV, and they're from Massachusetts, and they had problems with their septic system. When they would take a shower, it would back up into the toilet. And they had to go down to South Carolina to get that fixed, and then they came back to Massachusetts and had the same exact problem again. Had to go back down there, and a lot of times they had to wait for it to get fixed, so it would take like weeks and weeks. And the only good thing that came out of the whole thing, they're like, after like 2 years, they're like, we're getting ready to get rid of this RV because it just had problem. And they spent a lot of time in South Carolina. They said the only good thing came out of it is we actually like South Carolina now, so we're fixing to move there. So I guess that's good. But, you know, they're $250,000. They go to sell this beast. It's probably going to be like $200,000, you know, and they're going to take a $50,000 hit on that bad boy. And the other funny part is a lot of the problems and issues are already fixed. So if they had bought one that was a couple years old, they could have got one that had way less problems, way less money, and been way better off. But, you know, anyway, that's my ramble on that. So what's new this week in the Vanagon world? Okay, we talked about these cars that are expensive. I don't know if you guys got to see some of my newest videos. We're working on a 91 Karat, so I posted a couple of videos this week. I'm finally getting back on it. And one of the things we talked about was this part right here. This is your wiring harness cover that goes in the door jamb. Okay, that we have them available if anybody needs them. And so I just wanted to kind of bring some attention to that. I think they're like $45, but you know, they are they're available if you guys want to, you know, look at those door jamb wiring things, and maybe that is ripped or torn, or you have to cut it open to do some work. Okay, we have those available. All right, so let me answer some questions on here. So Rick Martin says our gas prices here in Vancouver are between $1.63 and $1.72 for regular, and large RVs aren't seeing or renting for holidays. Lots of companies here are hurting because it's ridiculous here. Okay, I mean, yeah, just pull up to a gas pump with a big RV and you are going to feel the pain, buddy. I mean, when we traveled in 2011, it was actually like when gas prices were the highest. When we got to California, they were over $4 a gallon, and our gas tank was 100 gallons. So, you know, do the math. But you had to deal with it. Okay, and as soon as we got back from our trip, then gas prices went down, and they are, you know. So I think what Rick is saying, it's $1.63 to $1.72 a liter, right? Not a gallon. That's a liter. You guys, all these people are like, oh, $1.63. Yeah, that's a liter. So in other words, 4 liters per gallon. You know, and hello. Yeah. So, you know, a liter, it makes it's expensive. It's more expensive than here. And I'm sure, yeah. I mean, that's another reason why in Europe, right, that these small RVs were so popular. So, because you could have one that was more frugal on fuel. You know, over there, most of the things were diesel back in the day. So you're getting like 24 miles to the gallon on an RV? Like an RV, a camper? I mean, that's ridiculous. Even a Vanagon Westie maybe get 18 miles to the gallon. I mean, my RV, my model Class A, got like 10. Okay, so, you know, it's a lot different. And then you get, you know, so there probably are lemon laws, Chris. So Chris says, are there lemon laws on RVs? There are, but, you know, getting them to, like, basically all they have to do is keep saying, hey, we'll fix it. You know, we'll fix it for you. They're not going to say we won't fix it. But here's what you have to do. You have to come down here to the factory. You agreed to that or something when you bought it. I don't know, it was in the fine print. And, you know, as long as we keep, you know, trying to fix it for you, you can't really sue them. That's kind of the way it works in a way. I guess you could sue them. Again, their factory's in South Carolina, so you have to like come to South Carolina to maybe sue them in court down there. It's kind of a nightmare. Alright, so Eric Silverson says, any experience with headlights turning off when you hit the brights? Actually, usually people have problems the opposite of that. So, you know, if you hit the brights and everything just turns off, are you sure the headlights bulbs are not burnt out? Okay, sometimes people like have one bulb burn out, then they keep driving, then another bulb burns out, then they keep driving, they have another bulb burn out, then eventually all the bulbs burn out, and then they're like, hey, all my bulbs are burnt out, and they didn't even realize it. Okay, have you checked? You know, I would check fuses. Would be number one. Fuses would be number one. People have a problem with fuses all the time for whatever reason. Maybe the fuse is old, gets a little tired. Okay, if you have the relay set up, the Go Westie relay thing has caused me lots of problems over the years. Yeah, if you have that relay system, you want to check that, because the wiring where they crimps together and stuff could be a little bit iffy. The relays could be iffy. I mean, the 91 I'm working on right now in the videos has the Go Westie relay kit. And when I first got it and first started trying to use the headlights, they didn't work. I'm like, why don't the headlights work? So then I'm like tapping on the relays and jiggling it and stuff. Guess what? Starts working. Ooh, wonderful. Yeah, I pretty much hate that relay kit. It's one of the things that I think is most pointless thing that they sell, because it's only as good as whoever installs it, and some people's wiring crimping skills is bad. Okay, and then the other problem you have is, you can basically cause just as much problems as you're trying to fix. So, like the LED bulb thing that we sell, that's what I recommend, because then you don't need the relays. You can have the relays and use the LED bulbs. People ask me that question so many times. I don't know why. But yeah, you can have the relays and have LED bulbs, but the LED bulbs unload the system, so the relays aren't necessary. Could grounds cause the issue? Yes. Oh, very easily. Okay. I mean, you're actually needing extra grounds now because of the relays. They need their own grounds, and also you have grounds for the high beams. So now instead of worrying about one ground, you're worrying about two grounds. Okay. So definitely check your grounds, clean them. Sometimes the ground things will look fine, and you start pulling on it just a little bit and just slip. It's just like phantom connected there. It's like, oh, I'm connected, and then you go to touch it and it's like just pulls off with no effort, and the end of it is just like kind of has opened up because of corrosion. So definitely, like, drop the fuse panel down, grab the grounds, and just kind of give them a little shake or pull or tug or whatever. If you see any corrosion at all, I would take them all off and clean the little ground star things and put them back, because yeah, the ground crowns, that's correct. That's what you want to be cleaning and looked at. Okay, so Steven, you can leave that relay kit in as long as it's not causing you any problems. I would leave it alone. If it's not causing you any problems, leave it. If you already have it and it's in there, it's working good, it's fine. Okay. If it's causing you problems, then you can take it out. But I would leave it if it's working. Okay. It's just another thing in the system. It's another thing that could go wrong. Okay. That's the problem I have with it. It's like one more thing that could go wrong, and it may never go wrong. It may work perfectly forever. That's what they wanted. That's what they were hoping for when they sold it. But a lot of times I've ran into people having problems with it, and I think, like I said, it's possibly because you're adding an extra ground. Now you have to worry about, is that ground corroded or sketchy? And then also you're, worried about, are the relays okay? Did they get burnt points inside? So, it just adds another thing to check in troubleshooting. To me, the more simpler, the better. Okay, less, things go wrong. So, Eric says, any experience with Subaru SVX conversion? So, I don't have any direct experience with it. I had one or two customers that over the years that wanted me to do Subaru conversions for them, but then that always seemed like something came up. One guy, he couldn't wait, and he needed it done yesterday. I was getting the parts together, and he was like, this is taking too long. I'm like, well, the parts, I have to get this part from here, small car, this thing, that thing. You couldn't just get everything. Okay, so he's like, I talked to this other shop by me. They said they could do it in like 2 weeks. It could be done. I'm like, okay. So he came and got the van. He got all the parts I had got for him. Took it down to that shop. And it took them like 6 months. And I just didn't say anything, because I had told him it was going to take me a couple months to do it. This other shop, they told him they could do it in 2 weeks, and it took like 6 months. And then he had all kinds of problems after that, like troubleshooting. So my advice on the Subaru conversion is either, you're going to become the expert of it, or go to somebody that's did a lot of them. Okay, so that's like my two recommendations on that. If you have a shop that's done a lot and they're have a good reputation, then they can do a good job for you. If you want to become that person yourself, you say, hey, I want to learn this, I want to do it myself, then at least you know what's going on. You're kind of become the expert for yourself. Anytime there's a problem, you can try to fix it yourself and that kind of thing. So, alright, so he has a 92 SVX motor in his Synchro, a Buddy with the same setup here. Okay, yep. Okay, sell for misfire. Yeah, I'm not totally sure. I mean, usually what I do with cell codes is I Google search them for the car, and then that'll usually give me like the usual suspects. So like we have a bunch of more modern Volkswagens. Like my one daughter has a new Beetle 2001, and my other daughter has a 2004 Jetta wagon. My sister has a 2003 TDI Jetta, and my parents have a 2006 TDI Jetta. So, you know, I'm definitely familiar with, and I've worked on a lot of Eurovans over the years. Okay, that's my little clickbait thing there. I've worked on a lot of Eurovans over the years, so I'm used to like doing codes and whatever. So what I'll do is like, say I was having that problem, I would get that code. Oh, really? It's OBD1. Well, usually if it's OBD1, they can do a blink code to a check engine light. So if you like kind of do this little thing with a paper clip or something, and then it'll go into like blink mode, and it'll be like blink, 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 you know. And now that's how you get the codes out. So maybe check into that. That's really primitive. OBD1, yeah, they were primitive, but a lot of times you could get a blink code out of them. That was before you could get the scan the codes out, but you can still get codes out. They blink. Can't find the Subaru black clips for Morse code. For the Morse code yet. Yeah, I mean with some of the cars, I remember you could use a paper clip and you just bridge some contacts in there. The early Eurovans were like that. From like '93, they had a DigiFont system, but it had availability to generate codes, and they could get some blink codes out of them. OBD2 was just so much superior, in my opinion, about getting codes out, and you can get a pretty good idea about what is going on with the codes. It just makes troubleshooting like so much easier, and there's people still try to get a hold of me about troubleshooting their Eurovan, and I'm like, have you scanned it? Do you have the Vagcom? And they're like, what's that? I'm like, yeah, get that. I mean, the Vagcom for a Eurovan is like a Bentley manual for a Vanagon, and you can scan your stuff and it'll pretty much tell you everything, and it's just so easy to do it, and then takes all the troubleshooting out of it. I mean, you don't need to be like me, have 20 years of experience. You need a Vagcom tool and a Google search, and you're good to go. Alright, so let's see, what else are we going to talk about today? Okay, I did have a little problem this week. I'll show you this problem, and you guys can tell me what you think. So, JP Group. Okay, JP Group makes some nice stuff, but sometimes there's some retardation going on over there. I'm not totally sure why or who is in charge of some of these item things. Okay, but I got some of these. I showed you these guys a couple weeks ago. These are, the driver's side power window door switches things for a Vanagon. And, it's very affordable. I think I was selling for like $35. Comes with 2 switches and a frame. For $35, that's amazing, because when you could get these switches from Volkswagen, they were like $125 a piece, and this frame was like $15. Okay, so you do the math. That's like $270 or something for this. Okay, and you can get this from JP Group, $35. Awesome, except there is a slight problem. Do you see this? Okay, so I sold a few of these. And the second person I sold it to is like, hey, these plugs on this are actually wrong. I'm like, what? You crazy? He's like, no. He's like, see, that's got 3 pins, okay? And my van has got 2 pins. So I'm like, this guy's a crazy person. So, but I had this 91 sitting out here. And I pulled the door panel off, as you saw the other day. And looking in there, he's got brand new Volkswagen switches in here that he bought and put in, the previous owner, because they still got stickers and things on them. And it's only got 2 pins. And so I'm looking at these switches, and yeah, basically on the driver's side, you have 2 pins, and actually these 2 red wires, they just bridge together. Okay, and that allows it to, to work properly. And then on the passenger side, guess what? 3 pins. Okay, 3 pins. So basically what happened is they built these switches for the passenger side, the single, okay, which I have some of them here too, the single with the single frame and all that stuff. That's also about the exact same price as these, okay? And that's what these switches are actually built for. They're built for the passenger side. They just were like, hey, you know what? We got these nice frame things. We'll just pop 2 of these in there. Boom, driver's side. But the bad part is, yeah, it don't work. Now, I did modify some of them, which was like super easy. Like, pop these pins out of here. The 2 red wires, you just kind of splice them together, and you can take the plug off your old switch, pop it on here, and now you've got a 2-pin switch that's wired up correctly, and it works great. But yeah, it's not exactly perfect off the shelf. So I pulled them off the store. Yeah, and I don't know what I'm going to do. I may modify all of these to be correct if I have enough of the little plug things that I can scavenge here and there. I mean, it's very easy to like take those pins out of there and put them in a new thing. So Eric wants to know, how many vans do I own? I actually own 2 Karat Vanagons at the moment, and then I have 2 parts cars out back. I hesitate to mention them because then everybody's going to like deluge me with parts requests for the used stuff. So this is one little, little fun moment I had this week dealing with this. And I felt bad because I thought the customer was crazy, but the customer wasn't crazy. He was smart. He was right. He took pictures for me. Very nice guy. Very patient. And I appreciate it. And I'm not perfect. Okay. I mean, I do stuff from memory. I try to not do that, but sometimes you do stuff from memory. You think you're smart, and sometimes you're a dummy. So another thing that's been going on are these brake booster deals. Now, I know some of you guys talked to me about this before, about the BMW brake booster thing that you can put in, and that's all fine and dandy and everything. So here's the problem with the brake booster thing. The brake boosters are no longer available as a new part as of a couple months ago. Okay, I had one here. They were really, really expensive, and I found out about this situation about a year ago. One of my suppliers had one of the last new ones in the known universe, so I bought it, and I had it on the shelf for like 6 months to a year, and I finally sold it. And it was like a lot of money. I can't remember how much it was, but it was a lot to me. So now, of course, as soon as it's completely not available anymore, everybody needs one, and I'm getting about 1 call a week for these things. So today I spent part of the day taking this one off. This is a good used one. But I'm just letting you guys know about the situation. Now, the BMW ones, I was looking into that. I mean, they're also, as far as I could see, only available as a used part. If somebody knows about a new one that you can get, let me know about that. But I looked into it. I could only find used ones available. I mean, it would be perfect if you could get new BMW ones, and then you could just like kind of sell them instead. There is some modifications you have to do to the clevis and stuff with the BMW ones, but nothing really that looked that hard. So that's another thing that's going on right now. The brake boosters are no longer available. Maybe they'll come back again. Maybe they won't. Another weird, strange JP Group thing. Okay, so we sell these kits. I'll go get one real quick and show you what I'm talking about. Alright, so we sell these kits for the brake lines. Okay, this is a relatively new part that we've had for probably about 6 months. Okay. And I've been getting lots of calls for them lately, so, you know, good call on JP Group of making a product that people want to buy. There's been kits out there for years for the Beetle, so making one for a Vanagon is kind of, to me, like a no-brainer. So you got this kit. I'm going to show it to you real quick. Okay. And this one is for, like, later model Vanagon. Okay. It's basically... it's called a complete kit for brake lines. Okay. But there's a slight problem with this kit that I address. So when I sell one, it is a complete kit for brake lines. Okay. But I wish I could buy it that way. Instead, I have to buy an incomplete kit for brake lines. What do you mean by that? It has almost all of the brake lines in it. Guess which one it doesn't have? The longest one. The one that usually always goes bad the most. Okay, so if you've ever had a brake line fail on your Vanagon, most likely it failed back at the transmission area where it goes on the frame, and there's like a little brass T right there, and then it splits and goes to the sides. So most of the failures I've ever seen is actually the really longest line that goes from the T all the way up to the brake pressure reducer. And that line is approximately 2,900 millimeters long. Okay, I don't know what that is in inches. I could look it up, but who cares? You look it up if you really care. So it's a really long line. Okay, so I got these kits and I'm looking through it, and you know, I'm counting how many lines there are supposed to be. 11, and inside the kit there's 10. I'm like, okay, there's 10, and that one's missing. So I got a hold of my friend that is like friends with JP Group. I'm like, what is going on? Because here's the weird part. Okay, so you're like, well, maybe they just don't want to make that one because it's super long. You know, the ones in here is 2,200 millimeters. That's not really that much shorter. Okay, but here's the weird part. So they have this kit. This is for like an 86 to 92. They have another kit for 83 to 85, and they have another kit for 80 to 83. So say you get the 80 to 83 one. Okay, guess what that has in it? That has a 2,900 millimeter long metal pipe in it. Okay, yep. But then it's missing another one. I can't remember which one that one's missing. So yeah. So anyway, so JP Group, they're good. A lot of times they're trying. Okay, they make a lot of cool stuff for the Vanagon, but you gotta watch them. Okay, you gotta watch them sometimes because weird stuff, random stuff, they get wrong. And you know, like they had these this gas line. Okay, I'll show you this real quick. So they had this gas line here. This is your gas press line, right, for the top of the gas tank. Okay, and JP Group had this, but it was not put together. Okay, so you would get this black line here, which actually had Volkswagen logos and stuff on it. You get the two end pieces, but then they're like sitting in a bag as 3 separate pieces that you are supposed to put together. Okay, here's the problem. I could never get it to go together. Okay, and I heated this up with a heat gun. I put it in hot water, you know, all of this stuff to try to get it to go together and be like the way I want it to be, look nice, and it was a nightmare. Okay, it was a nightmare. And like you try to heat it up with a heat gun to the point where you can push it on there and this plastic starts bubbling and stuff, and you push it on, it's like kind of hard, the thing kinks on you. I mean, all this stuff. I'm sitting there going, why on earth did anybody think it was a smart idea to sell a part like this, which is basically a pre-formed part, why would anybody think that's a good idea to sell that to an end user to get them to do it? You know, because, I mean, I could have just got that kit and sold it to customers, but I'm like, how hard is this to do? It's extremely hard. Like, somebody who's been working on Vanagons for 20 years can't do it easily. I mean, I eventually got it to go together decent, but not really up to my standards. And, you know, look at this. This looks perfect. This is perfectly together, perfectly great. Why? Because in a factory, they have a special heat system or something that goes to this exact right temperature, heats this up, shunk, shunk, 2 seconds, and it's done. Okay? Why on earth would you think that an end user could do this or would want to do this? So I sent all of them back. Okay? And the hysterical part is, too, that as I was getting some more from the same supplier that gets a lot of JP Group stuff, they sent me some. They had Go Westy stickers on them. Okay? So what does that mean? That means Go Westy sent them back already. They had already labeled them, put them on the shelf, and then tried them and got all kinds of complaints and sent them back. Then they resold them to me with the Go Westy things on it. I'm like, I don't want these either. Okay, so I sent them back too and got these pre-made ones, which is what like everybody wants. Okay, so yeah, weirdness. It's just part of the fun of being a Volkswagen parts guy and running into these things. But, you know, we do it, guys. We do it for the love. We do it for you guys. Okay? So I hope you guys are going to have a great weekend. This weekend. Get out there. Do some work on your van. Do some fun stuff with your van. Okay? We're going to be out here doing some stuff and things. And just enjoying things. I might do some more work on the 91. I'd like to get it so we can drive it. That would be great. Right now, it's still kind of in the I'm getting it ready stage. Right now, I also I have to, like, one of the coolant pipes had a rust hole in it. So that's the thing that's holding up really from being driven right now. But, yep. All right, Eric. It's good to see he's going off to work. I'm getting ready to call it a day, too, guys. It's like 5:17. But I appreciate you guys being here. And so, over this weekend, if you guys want to look on the website, you see anything you need, you know, go ahead and order it. I definitely appreciate all the support. We've been super busy for the last, I don't know, since January. So thank you guys so much for that. Please like, share, and subscribe. Our thoughts and prayers go out to Chris Snyder, and he's going through some dialysis things right now. So if you think about him, pray for Chris that way. Hopefully he'll keep going. And, of course, our other Patreons. On Patreon, we've got Eric Schneider and Peter Benici. And, again, thank those guys for being supportive. If you want to support us on Patreon, that would be great. Okay, you can do it for like $5 a month. But I appreciate you guys being out here today. Hope you guys get more smiles per gallon with your Vanagon. And next time, if you have any more questions, we'll be glad to answer them. But we'll see you guys next time. And thanks for coming out and being with us on our live stream here at Vanagon.